Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we're doing an early impression, or tonight I should say. We're doing an early impression on the final Agar Aura sample that was sent to me by my good friend Eddie. Thank you very much, my friend. And it's called Neriko. Now, this is one of apparently Taha's earliest creations. It came out in 2012, so it's a decade old, long discontinued. So you might have a hard time finding a bottle. But this fragrance brought a smile to my face because it was one of those fragrances that the instant it hit my nose, I mean the instant, there was no thought, I knew exactly what it reminded me of. You guys ever have that experience? And it reminded me of something that I probably never would have thought of ever again, as long as I lived. I mean, it's a very strange story I'm going to tell you, but I mean, this is what came to my mind with 100% clarity and certainty. So when I was a child, my mother used to buy this medicine from the grocery store, and I can't think of the name. I texted her. She didn't text me back. It's late at night. But it was in a white bottle with red-white writing, and it had a stopper on it, almost like a stopper on a Splash cologne bottle or aftershave. And you would actually, put like a cotton swab or something and tip it over and then put it on your canker sore if you had like a sore in your mouth or something, and it would bubble up. And that bubbly chemical reaction like feel in your mouth also created a smell. And I wish I could describe the smell. I don't have the verbal ability to describe it, unfortunately. I don't have the vocabulary. But if anyone knows what medicine I'm talking about, I would love for you to leave in the comments, because that is exactly what Noriko smells like to me for the first 5 to 10 minutes, okay? And then the dry down after you get to about hour 1 is beautiful, okay? It smells like Mysore sandalwood. It says that there's notes of fruity notes like plum, apricot, spices. Here, I'll read you the blurb. Neriko refers to Japanese kneaded incense. In ancient Japan, Neriko was used by aristocrats and government officials to scent their sleeves. Our Neriko attar is a tribute to one of the most ancient documented uses of agar wood in the Japanese tradition. Neriko was traditionally prepared in a base of plum flesh or honey, with a carefully balanced blend of woods, spices, and herbs. After rolling the mixture into little pellets, it was buried underground for several years to mature. Neriko is never ignited or burned directly on charcoal. Rather, it is gently heated to release its characteristic creamy, sweet aroma. True to the Neriko flavor of yesteryears, our Neriko features buttery smooth notes of Mysore sandalwood, juxtaposed against the rugged oudiness of wild Indo-Chinese oud. Delectable heart notes of plums and apricots give it an irresistible allure, and traditional spices both ground it and give it an uplifting quality. Delicate, refined, and luxurious, Neriko is the scent of medieval Kyoto's royalty. Okay. Nice story. Does it live up to the story? Well, so this fragrance does something special that only fragrances can do. It's the only one, it's one of the few senses we have that can act as a time machine. Okay, and so what I mean by that is, if you ever smell, like, let's say you were a young man or a young woman in the 1970s or 1980s, a long time ago, and you smell a perfume that a previous lover wore that you haven't smelled for 40 years, and then all of a sudden you smell it, you'll instantly be transported back to that time. It has to do something to do with the way our brains store memory, and scent works as the best time machine humans have. So even though that strange chemical reaction, medicinal reaction, that I got. I wish I could find that medicine. I wish I knew the name of that medicine, because even right now, after that smell has subsided and more of the sandalwood and, regular oud, woody oud notes are starting to come through, it's still kind of there in the background. So it doesn't really, or within, let's say, an hour and 15 minutes of application, it doesn't go away. It stays in the background. Again, these are quick hit videos, so they're not meant to be full reviews. They're not meant to be conclusive reviews. They're just initial impressions, early impressions. I put it on before bed. That's it. That's all the juice I have. That's all the juice I have enough for. I don't have enough percent of the day, stuff like that. But even though this is not full bottle worthy to me, I mean, I can still kind of select an option. 1 ml was $21. 25 ml bottles were $455. Now, I think this is long sold out. But it's a special fragrance in that it transports me back to being a kid. And it instantly did it. I mean, as soon as it hit my nose, I was there, and I thought about a medicine that my mother used to buy, when I was probably a kid in the 90s, 80s, 90s, that I never would have thought of that medicine again. As long as I lived, there would be no reason for me to. I mean, it was just one of those mundane, useless, memories that I guess is stored somewhere up here, but you just never would pull. I mean, how, all of the details of everyday life, how can you remember, little things like that? They just get pushed to the side because they're seen as unimportant. Usually I found that memory tends to, take snapshot photographs of stressful or, crazy events, where there's adrenaline running and the brain seems to like snapshot those images and it's easier to recall. The mundane day-to-day stuff just seems to get kind of buried aside in long-term memory or whatever they call it. But this brought that back. This brought that back instantly. And so even though I wouldn't buy this, because I think the price is outrageous, value for money on these is very low for me for Agar, or I don't think they're worth the money. I haven't smelled a single one that I would say is worth the money. Even though I don't think this is my favorite one as far as construction goes, there is something special about this one for me because it did this crazy time warp thing in my brain, and there, to be fair, there is a very convincing Mysore sandalwood-like note in the dry down. Whether it's actually Mysore sandalwood or not, I don't know. But I assume, if Taha says it is, that it is. He seems to be just as honest as, Russian Adam. But yes, it's a weird one. It's a very weird one. If I didn't have that scent association, would I still love it? I don't know about that. Probably not. I'd probably sit up here and say very similar things to what I said the last time or the time before when I've smelled this brand. There's not very many videos on this brand, to be honest with you. So I just wanted to do these because I want to put something out there, a starting point at least, some information. If even one person who, maybe someone's selling a bottle and they go online and search and there's nothing, even if they find this video, at least it'll give them something to go off of. But I mean, I'm enjoying these. I would love to smell more, but I don't think anything from this house has moved me enough to, decide to try to hunt one down or pull the trigger or, nothing like that. I mean, they're interesting, and they're interesting as a case study to try to get to smell. And again, I just got a strong whiff of that canker medicine. Somebody's going to know what it is. They're going to leave it in the comments. But these videos are meant to be short. We're not even at 10 minutes, but I'm going to end it because I don't want to just ramble for no reason. There's really no reason to go on and on and on like I do with my other videos. When these are just meant to be kind of quick hit, talk about it real quick. But if you have experience with this, I would love to hear if you agree with what I'm saying. The name is Neriko. The house is Agar. If you have experience with this house even, I would love to hear about it. It's a house that I knew absolutely nothing about until the last few months when Eddie sent me these samples. So I've enjoyed smelling them, but I haven't found one that's, I haven't found one that's really moved me enough to go try to buy it, even with this, I don't know what you would call this strange experience that I've had with this one. It's still not for me. So anyways, appreciate everyone watching. Hope you have a good night. Cheers, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.